Cameron Parish Police Jury's voting session, Monday, March 10th, 2025. Pledge allegiance.
Randy.
All right, Mr. Randy, you up.
I'm already up.
You're asking for.
Oh, okay, guys, we're gonna, on the Cameron Creole Maintenance Board, we've been trying to get this wrapped up, and we don't have it on the agenda, but we wanna do our substantial completion, because I wanna start fall, that way we start our 45 days. And you're pretty, I think you're all aware of that the contractor pulled out. But actually, we did our final punch list. I was just talking to the designer, and it was the March 26th of 2024. And we expected him to come back to finish out, but he never did. So it's on the agenda to, I had to hire a contractor to finish the job. But we got to get this substantial completion done too. So I would like for y'all to just make the date. That would put them, what, Kate, 11 days?
11 days.
11 days in LD. Okay, but in consideration now, we was occupying the building at the same, as while construction was going on. So we just looking at 11 days. And I rather y'all make the date, because I didn't want to make the call on the date, and y'all just said, well, how did you determine it? But anyway, it looked like March the 26th, if I ain't mistaken, Kate.
I'm
Right?
sorry,
26th?
26th of March,
Yeah.
Of 2025?
2024.
Should we do our substantial now, or what's your recommendation legally?
What?
Oh, no, no, we can do it, I mean, according, design.
Because we,
Y'all know better than I do the whether and when it was.
yeah, but I'm just talking, we got it wrapped up pretty much.
I understand, we just need to have the police jury declare it substantially completed so we can start the lien period.
That's my main thing, because I'm hoping we ain't got no liens against the place. So,
So when they make the motion to consider the CCD, they can make the motion
yeah,
to accept
that's
it
what I like
substantially
that.
complete as well, okay?
So nothing needs add.
No, you can make a motion to say that. When we get to it, we'll make sure the motion's made to say whatever y'all wanna do with the CCD and to accept it substantial complete.
Okay.
Copy that.
That's number 17.
Thank you, Mr. Randy. All right, any public comment?
No, sir, there's none.
All right, need a motion to adopt February 25's meeting minutes.
Make a motion to adopt the meeting minutes. I'll second it.
A motion by Mr. Michael, second by Mr. Mark. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, motion to approve the add-ons.
I move.
Motion by Mr. Sonny, second by Mr. Sam. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Motion to approve permits.
No,
We'll break them down.
no. There's
I
some-
move
to defer executive session items C and D till next month.
Okay, Mr. Okay, got a motion by Mr. Sonny, second by Mr. Johnny. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, on the permits, okay, do we take them all? Y'all have any problem?
No issues.
Move to approve all permits.
Okay, got a motion by Mr. Sonny,
Second.
second by Mr. Sam. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, appointments. Fire Protection District number 14, Leonard Richard, term expired.
I move to reappoint Leonard Richard.
Got a motion by Mr. Sam,
Second.
second by Mr. Danny. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Lower Cameron Hospital District number 2, Vicky Trahan, term expired.
Move to reappoint.
Motion by Mr. Sonny, second by Mr. Johnny. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Waterworks District number 11, Wayne Abear, term expired.
I'd like to send a letter of appreciation to Mr. Wayne Abear for his dedication to the board and his service, and I'd like to appoint Ms. Shelley Medlock.
Got a motion by Mr. Mark,
Second.
second by
Dan.
Mr. Danny. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Consolidated Fire District of South Cameron, appoint Tammy Pishoff to open seat.
My appointment. Move to appoint.
I'll second
Motion
it.
by Mr. Sonny, second by Mr. Mark. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Fire Protection District number 10, Richard Burbank, resigns.
I'd like to send a letter to Mr. Burbank, thanking him for his service, and to appoint William Lebo Trahan to that position.
All right, and a motion by Mr. Sonny,
Second.
second by Mr. Michael. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. I need a motion to open the public hearing, for the proposed amendments to chapter 14.
Make a motion.
I'll second it.
Motion by Mr. Michael, second by Mr. Mark. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Mary?
Proposed amendments to chapter 14, motor vehicles and traffic, chapter 14, motor vehicles and traffic, article 3, operation of motor vehicles generally, section 1438, operation of utility terrain vehicles. Section 1438, the operation of a utility terrain vehicle upon public roads or streets of Cameron Parish is prohibited except as otherwise provided in this section. 1. Utility terrain vehicle means any recreational or off-highway motor vehicle designed for and capable of traveling over designated roads with a minimum width of 50 inches but not exceeding 74 inches and a minimum weight of at least 700 pounds but not exceeding 3,500 pounds. Utility terrain vehicles shall include those vehicles not equipped with a certification label as required by 49 CFR Part 567.4. A utility terrain vehicle may be operated between the hours of 6 a.m. and 10 p.m. upon any street or road within Cameron Parish that has a speed limit of 25 miles per hour or less, herein referred to as Cameron Parish Street, only in the regions of the parish described below. Hackberry and Johnson Bayou, eastern boundary being the Calcasieu Ship Channel to the western boundary being the state line of Texas to the southern boundary being the Gulf of Mexico to the northern boundary being the Calcasieu Cameron Parish line. Cameron, Creo, Granchenier, parts of Sweet Lake, eastern boundary being the Vermilion Parish line except for the area of Klondike and Louisiana Avenue, Parish Road 120, then to the northern boundary being the Calcasieu Cameron Parish line, into the western boundary being Highway 27 to the Intercoastal Waterway, then heading due west to the Calcasieu River, then to the southern boundary being the Gulf of Mexico.
That'd be the Gulf of America.
Gulf of America.
Gulf of America.
Go change that.
A utility terrain vehicle may not be operated upon any street or road that has a speed limit greater than 25 miles per hour, nor can a utility terrain vehicle be operated after 10 p.m. and before 6 a.m. A utility terrain vehicle operated on a Cameron Parish street shall be equipped with the minimum motor vehicle equipment appropriate for motor vehicle safety, including headlamps, front and rear turn signal lamps, tail lamps, stop lamps, reflex reflectors, including one on each side as far to the rear as practicable, and one red reflector on the rear of the vehicle, an exterior mirror mounted on the driver's side of the vehicle, and either an exterior mirror mounted on the passenger side of the vehicle or an exterior mirror, a parking brake, an adequate windshield, a windshield wiper, speedometer, odometer, braking for each wheel, a seatbelt assembly installed at each designated seating position, and a vehicle identification or serial number. Any utility terrain vehicle operated upon a Cameron Parish street shall be registered with the state of Louisiana through the Department of Public Safety and Corrections Office of Motor Vehicles as an off-road vehicle and shall display a decal issued by the Office of Motor Vehicles. No person shall operate a utility terrain vehicle upon a Cameron Parish street without a valid driver's license and shall be at least 21 years of age. Any utility terrain vehicle operated upon a Cameron Parish street shall have liability insurance with the same minimum limits as required by the provisions of Louisiana Revised Statute 32:900B. No person shall be a passenger in the open bed of a utility terrain vehicle while traveling upon a parish road or municipal street. The provisions of this subsection shall not apply in an emergency situation. The number of persons permitted to travel in a utility terrain vehicle is limited to the number of available seat belts. Nothing contained in this section shall be construed to prohibit Cameron Parish in the future from prohibiting the operation of any utility terrain vehicle on any street under its jurisdiction if Cameron Parish determines that such prohibition is necessary for the safety of the motoring public. If a subdivision in Cameron Parish has an existing regulation or covenant prohibiting the use of utility terrain vehicles, then that subdivision will be responsible for the enforcement of its regulation or covenant and preventing the use of utility terrain vehicles. Further, following the adoption of this ordinance, any subdivision in Cameron Parish may enact a regulation or covenant prohibiting the use of utility terrain vehicles, and thereafter that subdivision will be responsible for the enforcement of its regulation or covenant. Utility terrain vehicles shall comply with all applicable local and state traffic laws and may be ticketed for traffic violations in the same manner as any other motor vehicle. No person shall operate a utility terrain vehicle upon a bicycle path, sidewalk area, or other area not designated for motor vehicle use or not specifically designated for utility terrain vehicles, except it's provided in Louisiana Revised Statute 32:299. I have received no written or oral comments on.
Just to be clear, folks can look at the Louisiana Revised Statutes to understand what they need, right?
Yes, sir.
Do we need a motion to close the hearing?
Make a motion to close the hearing.
I'll second it.
Motion by Mr. Michael, second by Mr. Mark. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Move to approve statute 14-38.
Got a motion by Mr. Sonny, second by Mr. Johnny. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, we need a consideration of assessing liquidated damages on the OEP Pavilion project.
Make a motion to table this till next meeting.
Motion to table by Mr. Michael,
Second.
second by Mr. Sonny. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, guys, before we start this one, I had them table it from last month, and I still haven't, got a warm fuzzy about raising these things. I don't know how much money that's gonna increase. Has anybody done any study on this, what it's gonna help us, how it's gonna help us as far as money coming in?
For the permit fees, Robin was talking about permits. Never said anything.
I personally just don't think it's gonna be necessary. It's permit fees. I don't think it's gonna benefit us more than it's gonna hurt the people. I think it's gonna definitely hurt the people. They paying enough to come back, and it is, in my opinion.
I'd like to make a motion to knock it down myself.
So make a motion to decline.
Yep,
All
decline
right.
it.
Okay.
I got a motion to decline by Mr. Michael. A second by Mr. Johnny. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Randy, please thank her though. We do appreciate looking into those kind of things, see if we can improve the budget, so.
That's fine.
Absolutely.
Motion to approve resolution authorizing the president to sign a multi-jurisdiction agreement, for the 2025 workforce development.
So the workforce development, the resolution that he signs, it's a workforce development between Calcasieu, Cameron, Jeff Davis, Acadia, and Beauregard. So because our population is so small, we have one voting member on this board, and they're the ones that reaches out and does the career fairs, gets people trained for jobs, make sure they get their TWIC cards and whatever. They just kind of take over and do our part of all of this. So it's only allowing them to utilize, it's allowing us to say, yes, you can utilize the funding that we get, which is very, very minimal, to go through with the workforce development for the 5 parish area.
Make a motion to approve resolution?
Second.
And you're
Motion.
more than welcome to attend a board meeting if you ever want to attend a board meeting.
A motion by Mr. Michael, second by Mr. Sam. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Mary, on the next one, what is the increase on that?
Nothing,
Nothing, okay.
same as last year.
We need a motion, consideration of Police Jury Association of Louisiana's annual dues, amount of $9,600.
Make a motion to pay the dues?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Michael, second by Mr. Danny. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Consideration of parishes advocating for coastal endurance to face dues in the amount of $5,000.
Move.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Sonny, second by Mr. Michael. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Consideration to allocate funding in the amount of $20,547 to the LSU Ag Center for the extension programs for 2025.
I move to allocate funding.
Got a motion by Mr. Sam,
Second.
second by Mr. Danny. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Consideration of quotes to repair the generator at the West Annex.
Make a motion to do as Katie said, look into the abandonment idea.
You know, can I,
Yeah, go ahead.
Come on up, tell us what you got.
Please.
on that generator, I'm just gonna give you my recommendation. To me, I mean, we need to buy us a mobile unit on a trailer and let us put a manual transfer switch here with cam locks. And that way you never know where you're gonna be setting up.
That's
You know,
I
these stationary generators is really getting expensive with it, you know.
agree, Randy.
And that, by all means, on emergency response places, yeah. Where like we just saying, where they were required, yeah. But I'm just wanting to give you my recommendation. Because we put, every building we put back so far, we put manual transfer switches on them. Because we never know where we're gonna have to accommodate. But we don't have no mobile units though. Enough,
You
you
can
know.
better protect that mobile unit also, you know.
Right. And then another advantage, you know, you got a mobile unit, you can bring it in the shop instead of having technicians coming out here. So it's just a recommendation.
I think first things first, just make sure that we don't have any
Don't
legal
need it.
binding that requires us to have it, and
Yes.
But
And
if we
yeah.
don't need it, I would recommend a switch put up.
And I think that I can make that part of my motion. I think if we find that everything's fine, we move ahead for a manual transfer switch
Yeah.
with the connections.
Mr. Michael, I do believe though, if we are required to have a generator, you could still proceed with the manual transfer switch and we would just purchase a mobile generator and just stage it here.
Correct.
And then we could evacuate it with us. So if that's the idea you want to get away from stationary generators and go to mobile options, then that would be your motion.
That would still cover, I think.
If we needed it, we could recover. We could remain compliant with the statute. If it's not required, we'll still do the manual transfer switch so it's ready to accommodate a generator in the event we need it.
What about looking into it to rent them when we needed them versus buying them?
Yes.
Well, that's,
So you're talking about if we have to have one on site
will purchase a mobile
Correct,
generator.
I understand that, yep.
So right here is the consideration of repair to the existing generator.
Nope,
So
nope.
So we
the
need a-
motion's gonna be to not repair it and install a manual transfer switch. And if it's required to have it, get a mobile generator.
Correct.
If it's not required, no generator.
No generator, just the manual switch,
Okay,
and we get rid and properly surplus the broken one.
Yep. And if that is gonna be your policy moving forward, then when this happens to the East Annex generator, we would have authority to follow the same protocol. But courthouse and jail will always have stationary generators.
Correct.
Okay, we got a motion by Mr. Michael.
You wanna read it?
the motion's gonna be to not repair the generator at the West Annex, to install a manual transfer switch instead. And if a generator is required, to get a mobile generator. If it's not required, no generator at all. And also, put this in effect for other buildings.
Make that
Then we'll
motion.
still consider a mobile generator in the
Correct.
future.
Correct.
Second by Mr. Sonny. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, consideration of, CCD 01, work not completed by Dunhill Cameron Creole Maintenance Barn Livestock Pavilion. This is, I believe, what Mr. Randy was
Yes.
referring to.
What's the date we got put on the motion in that, Ms. Mayor?
So you're gonna accept it substantial complete today as of
March 26th.
March 26th?
I make a motion for
3/26/24.
substantial completion as of March 26th of 2024 on the building.
Now do,
Motion by Mr. Mark, second by Mr. Johnny
to accept it substantial completion,
to accept.
As of March 24th of 2024,
March 26, 2024.
26.
And increase the contract.
And y'all have to also make the motion for the,
The grease contract?
CCD 001, yes. You want
You
all
did.
that included?
I'll let
Yes,
it.
ma'am, all that included.
Okay.
Couple long windows.
All in favor?
Yeah. Aye.
Motion carries. So that was, Mr. Mark, Mr. Johnny.
Yes, sir. Got it.
All right, consider, supporting legislation for, Louisiana Transportation and Infrastructure Freight Rails.
They're gonna put us on the, map with a railway coming into Cameron?
No, sir. This is just joining other agencies saying that it is, you as a jury do find it important to continue to invest in rail systems in South Louisiana. And so when they're doing their new budgets, that they will still allow those to be a qualified, eligible activity. And all your infrastructure bills that are coming up this legislation.
Move.
I second it.
Got a motion by Mr. Sonny, second by Mr. Mark. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, motion to approve notice to the public describing geographic boundaries for Gravity Drainage District Number 16, Cameron Parish, Louisiana. Motion by Mr. Johnny,
Second.
second by Mr. Sam. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Ms. Mary?
So this is a motion to approve the public, notice to the public for Gravity Drainage 16 to consider calling an election. Notice is hereby given in compliance with Louisiana Revised Statute 4219, .1, that the Gravity Drainage District Number 16 will meet in open and public session on Thursday, the 13th day of March 2025 at 6 p.m. at 434 Veterans Memorial Drive, Gate on Louisiana, to consider calling an election to be held on November 15th, 2025 in Cameron Parish, Gravity Drainage District Number 16. to consider an ad valorem property tax millage, 7 mills to construct, operate, and maintain the district's drainage systems.
And this is a renewal, correct?
No, sir, this is new. They've never had a gravity drainage tax over there.
Looks like you got some work to do.
So
Move.
we have the boundaries described.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right, motion by, Mr. Sonny,
Second.
second by Mr. Danny. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Motion to approve notice to the public describing geographic boundaries for Lower Cameron Hospital Service District, Cameron Parish, Louisiana.
Move.
I'll second it.
Motion by Mr. Sonny, second by Mr. Mark. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Ms. Mary?
So this would be the motion to approve the notice to the public for Lower Cameron Hospital Service District to consider calling an election. Notice is hereby given in compliance with Louisiana Revised Statute 42:19.1 that the Lower Cameron Hospital Service District will meet in open and public session on Wednesday, the 12th day of March 2025 at 4 p.m. at 110 Smith Circle, Suite B, Cameron, Louisiana, to consider calling an election to be held on November 15th, 2025 in the Lower Cameron Hospital Service District to consider an ad valorem property tax millage of 16 13/100 mills to operate and maintain such hospital buildings, related hospital facilities and equipment within and for said district, title to which shall be in the public.
And that is a renewal.
Yes.
Yes.
Move.
I'll
Motion by
second it.
Mr. Sonny, second by Mr. Mark. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, number 23, it's a motion granting authority for building inspector to send notice and condemnation hearing letter on the following properties. We'll take A through G.
You wanna shed a little light on that, Miss Katie, about why we got them all on here and not just the ones that's not complying?
Yes, so through our PPDR program, we had to take a hard look at our condemnation ordinance and look at the way we were implementing that. We worked with the district attorney and we added a few steps that made our PPDR, our ordinance, comply with federal regulations. So moving forward, because we have set a precedent of how we're gonna do condemnations for all of the PPDR properties, now we're going out and looking at cleaning up the areas that aren't on our PPDR list. We're trying to continue that same process. So this is the first step, which is properties that are identified as a condemnable structure due to public safety. So we bring it to you guys first, saying that we want permission to send a notice to the landowner saying that we are considering condemning their property. They give notice of their hearing date. They are asked to come up to you guys, and if they feel like their property shouldn't be condemned, provide proof of why it's not a condemnable structure, or if they do agree with it being condemned and they want to pursue cleaning it themselves, then you can grant them time to clean it themselves. If the landowner doesn't show up, then you can move forward with your condemnation of the properties.
So today's just to issue a letter and
A notice.
not to take action on behalf of the jury?
Correct. This is just consideration of condemning it.
And Mark had asked me a question over the last few weeks about in the event that the structure is owned by someone other than the landowner, because that'd be unusual, but there may be circumstances where someone owns the home or the mobile home or whatever the structure may be, and the landowner is different, then we need to send notice to both. Just FYI, because the ordinance doesn't really make that clear. But the whole purpose of this letter and giving that date of a hearing is to provide the landowner and or the homeowner or the structure owner their due process rights to come before you and defend themselves if they feel it's necessary, or ask for more time or whatever, just giving them notice of their due process rights. So,
I think we done one last month like that.
yeah.
Tom, with that being said, the ultimate responsibility will fall on the landowner, correct? Because if this proceeds, the
Yes.
lien goes against the property.
Correct.
Would
Yes,
affect the property owner.
Exactly. That's why we need, even though the structure may be owned by someone other than the landowner, we need to give notice to that landowner, because ultimately it's gonna go on their tax bill, correct, yes.
Just wanna make that clear for the record.
Thank you for that
I
information,
think,
Tom.
I think we have one on here, and I know you know that. And,
Oh,
I
so
don't
that's-
see my name on this paper.
I didn't know who the question
Don't
was
see
directed
no
to,
letter.
but maybe now I get it. All right.
All right, A through G.
I'll make A through H, I'll make a motion.
A through G.
Okay, A through G. I'll make a motion.
And a motion by Mr. Mark. Second by Mr. Johnny. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, H.
I'll make a motion to send a letter to Mr. Ronald Nunez Senior and Junior at 243 Ruby Lane, Creo, LA.
Motion by Mr. Mark.
Second?
Second by Mr. Michael. All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Ronald, do you want to recuse, abstain from voting?
I'm gonna, but my name's not on here,
Yes, sir.
so we need to change this or do something.
So the motion's gonna be on, H, to accept to send a letter to Ronald Nunez Senior and Ronald Nunez Junior.
Or do we need to do an add-on first, being it's not on the
No.
document?
No, it can be included in your
Okay.
motion to make sure both owners get a letter.
Yeah, just to keep it
All right.
within the.
All in favor?
Boundaries. Aye.
Magnus? Motion carries.
Mr. Ronald, you have to go on the record to abstain.
Yes, I abstained, Mary, let the record show.
Okay.
All right, consideration of purchasing property for the Hackberry Dump Access Road. And I seen the price on the, I believe the email you sent.
Make a motion, to move forward.
How much is it gonna be for?
Katie, you wanna share that?
Email, you remember, right?
Yes, so this is a 5-year lease. There are 123 heirs that own this property. So you pay over a 5-year period. You pay $18,000, which breaks out to $3,600 annual payment. To purchase this property outright from all 123 heirs, it would cost you $20,500. So we're asking for permission to, based off of this appraisal price, approach all 123 heirs and offer to purchase their interest in the property.
Move.
Second.
So right now, how much is the lease now
It's $3,600 per year,
per year?
divided between 123 heirs.
gonna
Some
buy it
people
for-
get 30 cents,
And we're gonna buy it for 20,
20,000, to not have to
but we haven't
Gonna-
negotiated with them.
Key word is we're gonna try to.
try to
If
purchase
all
as much interest
123
as we can. 123 heirs will turn in, will double in a few years, and then triple, and
Yeah.
So we need a motion to negotiate a price with 123 landowners.
yes, we have the purchase price. We can't pay any
we can't
more
pay
than that
over-
appraisal price.
They can just say no.
They can say no, but you would be given us authority to offer that
Appraisal.
appraisal price per heir. It's gonna be different per heir depending on how much of the property they own and what their interest is, but we would like to start trying to purchase as much interest in this property as possible. It might take us 15 years to get it all, but we wanna start.
If you own an interest in this road, can you still use the road?
Well, it's a public road.
It's a public road.
Yes, sir.
It's leased now, it's a public road now.
Yes.
Yeah, it's probably undivided property, so we could purchase each individuals, and the ones don't want to sell. The lease would go down to just what, out of the, what was it, $3,600 or $32 a year? They would only get their portion, depending on how many, so.
Well, that's the question I was gonna ask, is does it take 100% participation to actually purchase, or does it take 51%, or?
You probably
Brian,
won't,
you might have the best.
you probably won't be able to purchase it
Spot.
all, but you'll be able to purchase a percent of it, which would knock down the lease for every heir that we buy out.
Well, if you, like I said, if you get enough control it. Either you can buy it or you can control the lease, because you'll have controller's interest in the property, so you would have, like,
Well, I think undivided property, if you got a share, no matter how big or small of a portion you have, you got just as much say so as the next landowner, cause in our family property, it works like that. But I'm no landlord now. What'd you think, Mr. Araby?
Real estate expert.
Yeah.
All right, y'all wanna consider buying it or not?
yes, I already made it.
And if anybody's related to John B. Aberry, you might wanna use yourself.
Yeah, I think the question is if the parish were to acquire a portion, could we continue to lease the remainder? Is that it?
That's the question.
Yeah. I mean, this is not a very clear area of the law where you have co-ownership. And typically, any co-owner can continue to use the property consistent with how the property's traditionally been used. So if this property's been leased for a road, and we acquired an ownership interest, we could continue to use it for that purpose. Acquiring a fractional interest also gives you authority to partition it. So, you could, and there's some other options in the law in that now. In other words, you can, in the old days, a partition typically forced it to a sheriff's sale, and that's an option, but you can also petition the court for an order compelling the other co-owners to sell to you. So, that would be an option as well.
So I think the goal would be not to to acquire most of the property, or hopefully all of it where we quit leasing it. And just say if we could get half of it at the lease price of what it states, technically we would only be paying half the lease that we would be paying now.
That's right. That's right. Although, nobody's necessarily obligated to lease it to you.
Yes.
So.
Okay.
Does it require 51% to force that sale?
No, I mean, you could acquire, it needs to be more than like a 15% ownership, but once you have beyond that, you can force a partition.
And we do have heirs that are interested in selling, already committed to it, so. 15%. No, sorry.
Motion by Mr.
There's a
Sonny.
motion, there's a motion on the floor
I had
by
the
Mr.
first
Michael
motion, so.
to move forward with purchasing the, property.
I'll second.
There you go.
Motion by Michael, second by Sonny. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, consideration of the Big Lake Ball Field lease.
Hey Katie, thank you for looking into those kind of things. I think overall it's gonna make our lives easier moving forward.
Katie, would you like to explain the Big Lake Ball Field lease?
Yeah, so Big Lake Ball Field lease is something that was executed for the first time in 2012. That was a police jury endeavor. It was independent of participation with the Grand Lake Rec. The jury, I think the actual juror at the time was Mr. Darrell Fark. He wanted to build a ball field in Big Lake. He knew that the rec district couldn't afford it, so he asked the jury to obligate money to this project to construct it. So they executed a lease. It's at no charge to the jury. Dr. McCauley has been gracious enough to allow us to use the property free of charge. That lease is coming up. He's not interested in selling the property at this time, but he has agreed to extend the lease for 5 years at no charge to us. All of the infrastructure that is on that piece of property originally was built with police jury funds, and then anything that was damaged due to hurricanes, we used federal funds to replace it, or insurance funds. So right now, I believe they have 3 fields, and they have a pavilion, they have a playground, and so it's utilized by the Little League, Grand Lake Little League. And so we're up for renewal. Again, any maintenance would be handled by the jury. That means your road crew would continue to do the landscaping and maintenance. Anything that breaks out there, it does come out of your general fund.
Do we have any other ball fields in Cameron Parish that we maintenance since we started that new thing in the beginning of the year?
You talking about like grass cutting and stuff?
Yeah, grass cutting, anything, because we're charging every other entity to do anything.
Right, they were cutting Creole ball field. Our road crew was cutting that. Shane, are there any other rec districts besides Creole?
Yeah, but as of the first of the year, we're not charging them no more, because that would be my only downfall.
Right.
if we're gonna take that service from the rest of the parish, I don't see why we can continue it there.
Well,
Well,
I was on there when we did that, and, we did that because the Grand Lake area did not have the funding to do it on their own. Thought it was a good neighborhood project, we've had good success with it. I don't have a problem with renewing it. I know we don't do it for the others, that is a point, okay? But sometimes we have to step beyond and do what's right for the kids. It's not for our profit, their profit, it's for the kids.
And I would like to say that, being Grand Lake doesn't have any functioning ball fields, that this is utilized daily by the kids, especially during season. And, it's a great place, and until Grand Lake moves forward and gets some ball fields, it is 100% utilized.
Yeah, I'll make the motion to do this with the stipulation that we send a letter to that landowner and thank him, for his community.
Now, we moved from 10 to 5, is that correct, on the lease?
yes, sir.
Yes.
It was his request.
And he said it may be for sale one day, but as long as he's alive, which that's why he wanted to go to a 5-year lease, that, it would remain, a free lease.
Definitely a letter of appreciation to him.
Okay.
Okay. Motion by Mr. Sonny,
A second.
second by Mr. Michael, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Motion to approve the resolution granting administrator to submit an application to DRA, Delta Regional Authority Strategic Planning Program, and sign all relevant documents should the application be funded. Motion by Mr. Sonny. Second. Second by Mr. Danny, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, proclamation is for the dystonia awareness.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Michael, second by Mr. Johnny, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Motion to approve ratification for present authority to sign the resolution 1210, CDBG urgent need project list.
Make a motion to approve ratification.
I'll second it.
Motion by Mr. Michael, second by Mr. Mark, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Review and accept the monthly financial statements and budget to actual comparison.
Make a motion to accept.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Michael, second by Mr. Danny, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Motion that approved bills be paid.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Mark, second by Mr. Sam, all in favor?
Aye.
Danny? Sonny? Motion carries.
Mr. Ronald, you can take 32 and 33 before, going to executive session.
Okay. All right, approval of letter of support for additional funding for the Rockefeller Shoreline Continuation Project.
I'll second.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Sonny, second by Mr. Mark. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Approval of CEA with the Council on Aging to allow the police jury to utilize staff and funds to help prevent flooding of the temporary fire station.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Mark, second by Mr. Johnny. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Move to go in executive session.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Sonny, second by Mr. Michael. Do a count?
Yep.
Yay. Yay. Yay.
Yay.
Yay.
Yay.
Motion carries. Going in executive session. Mary, would you read the actions?
Okay, so, number one, motion to approve recommendations made in executive session today, March 10th, 2025, by Chad Mudd, Special Counsel for Cameron Parish in the Cameron Coastal Zone litigation cases, specifically to the following: dismissal of certain defendants, settlement discussions with certain defendants, and proceed with the litigation as to other defendants as described in the executive session, all of the above being in the Cameron versus Burlington Deep Lake case. Motion to approve that.
Move.
Motion by Mr. Sonny. Second by Mr. Johnny. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Hey, Mr. President, I'd like
Yes,
to
sir.
make a motion to do an add-on to, hold up the ordinance on the trash cans until further discussion, when we implement it.
Wait,
Hold on, we're not done yet.
Oh, we're not done, my bad.
one more.
Number two, motion to approve settlement with Oxy and Adorco to resolve all Oxy and Adorco exposure and liability, including cost and attorney fees in the Cameron Parish Coastal Zone litigation cases as presented by Chad Mudd this 10th day of March 2025 in executive session.
Move.
Motion by Mr. Sonny.
I second it.
Second by Mr. Mark. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank y'all, gentlemen. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, bud.
Thank you, Chad. Bye, baby.
Katie, what was the date of when that was supposed to be implemented?
March 28th would have been when our new contract, you're talking about the solid waste contract?
Yeah,
That's when the renewal would start, so it would be effective March 28th
before next.
for next,
Yes,
this
your
year.
next meeting's April 7th.
Did they approve that contract?
Yes,
Yeah, like December.
So,
Solid waste.
just got the review and sent it back,
Discussion.
and I got it back signed.
I just think we didn't have a lot of facts present, and I think we need to look into it and trim a lot more fat before we just implement it, in my opinion.
No, he's saying halted, is what he's saying.
can we request, with, Waste Management to hold off, back off another month?
How was it Waste Management? It was us, huh?
Right, well, Waste Management is gonna bill according to our house count. Our house count that we submitted to them to take effect March 28th excluded RVs. So if you want us to just tell them to bill us on the old house count that included RVs, then we can continue the billing that way. So it's up to you guys if y'all need more time.
Just until we do more discussion and do a little more homework in it, because the little bit I found, we've been making the budget for the last 5 years, no problem, and rolling over, not a deficit, but rolling over a positive surplus. So, I mean, I really think we owe it to them, and I know they're a commercial business, but if we're gonna do a commercial business, there's a lot of other places that are commercial businesses that are still getting trash cans also.
Oh, they can opt out. I mean, the reason is, if we don't do something, it's gonna get very expensive, a lot more expensive than you think it is.
Well, I think one thing that he was discussing, it was brought to the table to try to eliminate these hundreds of RVs.
Right.
But if we look deeper into this, maybe we can make an exception for 10 and I'm just throwing it out there, I don't know the number, but 10 or less, or, people who are truly not large, but they can still get the service provided.
Do y'all have a suggestion on that? I mean, we have to come up with some numbers. I mean,
Well, that's what he's saying is.
Or I mean, it's simple. If we're gonna do it, it was brought to the table because it was a commercial business. That commercial business shouldn't get trash cans. So in my eyes, we can't say, okay, you got a rent house. This is a trailer park. They're a commercial business.
well, the difference, and we can discuss it another time, but the difference in that is that trash can for a house is a fixed asset. That's fixed. And they're paying a larger amount of tax than what an RV spot would. And RV spots are not paying, they're not paying taxes in the parish at all. Most of them, probably 99% of them. So my point is, we're giving them for free the service that we're charging everybody else tax for. So there is some issues there, and they need to be addressed. Now, if the people don't wanna be involved in it, they can opt out. Or if they choose to be in it, then we gotta charge them. I mean, it's gotta be,
I understand that, but I think we need to get more guidance from the tax assessor and what the numbers actually show, because we went off of a bunch of numbers that wasn't getting trash pickup. Yes,
I think,
yes, we are giving a service, but they are paying taxes just like everything else. Instead of making assumptions, we need
but the
to,
landowner, okay, for the landowner, say he's got an acre, he might have 10 spots on there, he's getting 10 services for 1 acre. And he's not paying any fixed structures on there, so he's not paying a high tax.
if I'd have to guess their commercial business at the end of the year, the tax assessor should go out and assess the commercial property, and whatever's on that commercial property is supposed to be assessed and paid for. I mean, I'm not 100% certain, but that's how it usually works. Because just,
I think the whole approach, or what I thought this was brought to the table for, was to eliminate 100 RVs, 200 RVs, having trash cans lined up from one end to the other. And it looks like we affected, from, the public feedback, we affected these 2-spotters, or these 10 or less spotters that can't afford, or it doesn't even justify a dumpster. Like, if you got more than 10 RVs, you got a trash,
But they've been doing something now. What are they doing with
They're
it
doing
now?
trash cans.
They're doing trash cans?
Yeah.
No, well, but they were doing it how long? They did it less than a year?
They've been doing trash cans.
Mr. Gibbs been doing it since before Rita.
Yeah, it's been trash cans.
He had his
I
RV,
got an RV
his
park.
RV camper spots he had since before pre-Rita. He had a bunch of them. It's people like that. Now look, these big RV parks that's coming in with 100, whatever. I get it, and even say Mr. Gibbs stuff maybe is commercial. That's fine, but to me, we need to do a lot more digging and a lot more looking, because
But you can pick and choose though, but if
Well,
y'all
this is the thing
want to
about it.
extend it till next month.
Yeah, say
But
let's.
it's this simple. If we're doing it to save the parish money because you're a commercial business, then we shouldn't say you're an RV, you got a bunch of them, you can't do it. Every commercial business that's on record, that's a commercial business, shouldn't get a trash can either that gets it. That's all I'm saying, basically. We need to look into it more,
Okay.
and I'm not against doing it for a business, but we need to look into it more.
Yeah, 7, 8, 9.
I wouldn't consider a 10 or less RV park full
Uh,
blown.
Okay, so I just picked 20 because that was a nice
Or
even
20.
number. And that would affect 20 RV parks and cut out 414 RV spots if you use 20 out of,
How many,
I mean, Shane's guys collected
So
how
the-
many spots for every single RV park. And so we know each community how much that would be. If y'all want to pick a number,
Just say dumpsters roughly what they said, like just say $350 at $18 a can. How many dumpsters does it take to get to $350? I mean,
How many?
$16 a month.
I think it was 18.
yeah, we're using like, I would use 19 to be safe.
320 for 20,
Average.
300.
and correct me if I'm wrong, they charge you for 2 cans per spot?
No.
Per house.
Go ahead, Jay.
You got 2 cans per house?
Whatever.
It's per resident.
It's per resident.
It's, yeah, whatever they have at that residence is what they.
I'm just saying, you start
They
looking
go
at those
around and do
numbers.
a
I mean,
house count.
I don't mean, go ahead, Tom.
No. Most of what y'all are talking about is y'all's decision. The only thing I was going to interject from a legal standpoint as far as public bodies and treating people differently, or companies, so obviously you can treat your residents in a commercial business differently. You can treat commercial businesses differently within that category. So for instance, there's all kinds of commercial businesses, but you're focusing on RV parks. So if you wanted to carve out RV parks as a special group within that, you may do that. So let's say you've carved out RVs, whether you're going to give them or not give them, but you've carved them out as a special subcategory of commercial businesses. But once you carve out that RV group, to start saying, well, we're going to treat RVs, commercial businesses, different than other commercial businesses by giving them or not giving them cans, or charging them or not charging them, it becomes more difficult to say we're going to treat certain RV parks different than other RV parks.
Yeah.
That's where you get into a little bit of
Yeah.
trouble. What is your justification?
Either we
What is
give
your
them or we don't.
political policy reasonable justification for treating some RV parks one way and some RV parks differently? That's where you might, that's my only legal input, is that it becomes more difficult to say, well, this is, we're gonna give 20 or less spots, cans for free, but we're gonna charge 20 or more spots, charge them.
Well,
Why, how?
In the old ordinance, well, in the one they're implementing, that's basically what they're doing, cause 2 or more. If you're under 2, you ain't getting it, so it's,
Well,
it should be
that-
none
that-
or all.
I think two or more means if you just have one, then you're not considered an RV park. That's an RV park question,
Yeah.
not whether we're going to treat them the same or differently with respect to giving them a can or not. That's just a decision that was made at one point that our ordinance says if you have 2 or more for lease, whatever.
Well, I think
the
it,
particulars are.
that's where the backflow preventer comes in, so.
Yeah, you have different descriptions for things for different reasons. We're talking about trash pickup. And so when you come into trash pickup, if you're gonna carve out RV parks as a commercial business, as a subcategory of commercial businesses, you would have to describe, then you start dividing that business into the RV parks into more subcategories. Why are you doing that? You just have to have some justification, and we not be, maybe we can come up with some thoughts of why, but we need to have some reasonable
Yeah,
justification.
so Katie,
I
just.
think the
just-
main thing is that pause it so we can have further discussion.
Yeah, cause if we're gonna do it for that, are we just gonna carve out RVs and not worry about the other, commercial businesses? That would be my thing.
Well, one thing about the other commercial businesses, and I wanna make this clear, I thought I did a while ago, is that they have fixed assets attached to that property. So they're paying a higher tax, but there's a fixed asset. We're renting a spot, a rental spot. It doesn't have any asset to it, so I mean, it is different.
And you've talked about numbers, whatever those numbers are. What's important is the dollar figure. So if you're going to give every RV spot a trash can, what is that costing the public?
We ran it. If every RV spot was gonna get it,
Yeah,
it was
and you gotta take into consideration all the RVs fixing to
43,000.
come in here.
A month?
40-something thousand extra a month if you give it to all RVs.
4 times 12, that's $500,000 a year that you're paying to support a commercial business, whether it's 2, 10, or whatever. Now, I think y'all had talked about if it's a 2 or 10 or whatever, they could pay for that service, $18 a month. I mean,
We've
and
been having
what
the
they're
same.
charging to say that they can't afford $20 a month per unit when they're charging $400 a month.
500.
So let me ask you, so what you're saying is we can offer the service with a cost?
Yeah, I thought we
That's
had that.
That's what's in place
That's
right
what we
now.
talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah, so the 10 unit person can come in and go, well, I really don't wanna buy a commercial dumpster. It's cheaper for me to buy one of y'all's cans and pay y'all to pick up my trash for those 10, or just how many units I have at that moment. And I don't think it'd be on a day-to-day, month.
Well,
It has to
It was
be-
an annual
It's
basis.
an
That's
annual
what the bill
basis.
on annual, cause we can't do every month.
Right.
Go up
We don't wanna
and
get the billing
And
and
if I'm
collection
not
business.
mistaken, they're gonna get charged whether they got an RV in that spot or not.
so this, I'll go into a little more detail. I don't know if y'all is aware or not. Since we done this and that, there's a bunch of complaints made. There's all kind of RVs that are for rent that's not supposed to happen. You know, that's not supposed to happen. There's a lot of places that didn't have this or that. It caused a big snowballing effect to a lot of stuff that's here that shouldn't be here. So I get the trash cans, but now we got this. Say like you was talking companies, why are we not allowing an RV to rent them spots and then it'll be a rental property and we could assess it and make taxes. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I just think there's a lot more because, and the only reason why I'm saying it and bringing it back up is, especially in your area, Mrs. Sonny, there's a lot of problems involving RV parks more than just trash cans, you know, so there's a lot going on. It caused a big headache for permitting and stuff like that since we last.
RVs is a path of least resistance, to come down here to,
Well,
it's such a act of Congress to build anything is a problem.
I had a guy that's, anyway, he had invited me to lunch, and he wanted to, because he wanted to learn about what he, you know, he needed to do it right in Cameron Parish. And while we're sitting there, I called Robin and said, Robin, this guy just bought a couple of RV parks in Cameron to house his workers. And the question was, the company wanted to buy 70 RVs for his workers. It has to be owner occupied.
That's only a parish ordinance.
It is a pair. You could change that, but so we're sitting, and I didn't know that. So I mean, but I answered, and he started talking about ways to get, you know, to manage that, because he says I can't get 70 people down here with all. I mean, it's a problem for.
Well, to me, we ought to look at lifting that, because one is gonna create revenue. Two, FEMA doesn't say that was a parish thing. From my understanding, they was worried about them leaving a camper behind, but
that was the policy decision, because if a company owns 70 RVs and you have a mandatory evacuation, can you rely on that company to evacuate 70 RVs as opposed to one person?
If they leave them, we hold them accountable to pick them up, but, you know, that's one of them problems that we shouldn't look at it like that. I mean, if they break the rules, you know what,
I'm just adding more for y'all to.
Y'all wanna,
Hey, can we get that letter to Trump? I'm ready to start talking FEMA with Trump.
y'all wanna set a special meeting, maybe meet about this, or do y'all wanna just wait till next month?
I mean, I think we need to talk.
Yep,
I
definitely.
think we need to talk.
So
Extended
for us to postpone the new policy, it will require a vote of the jury. You have, because right now, the most recent action we have is to require all of the RV parks to fill out an application and pay us for their annual use of participation in this program. That's what we're ready to roll out starting tomorrow. If you wanna postpone that for a month, so you have time to have another meeting, it's gonna take a vote of you guys.
And also, I would like to get the information on it, because it was from my understanding that any commercial business is not supposed to get trash pickup. Is that factual, or that's just talk, or?
Yeah, there's nothing in our ordinance that states that.
Okay.
Now, any commercial businesses that have dumpsters, it's more than likely a requirement of LDH's requirement. Like if they have restaurants, they require certain things in order to have a restaurant. That would be a requirement. But we have no planning and zoning in Cameron Parish. We don't have any technically commercial property to enforce.
So basically, that's why restaurants and big companies have dumpsters, because it requires, it was never.
Mainly restaurants that would come to mind, or, I mean, it might be just a choice of the company, but mainly restaurants. I know through permitting, you have to have a dumpster, it has to be clean, you have to have concrete, like there's certain state regulations that are enforced on restaurants.
Because I knew one of the arguments was that the trash and waste produced was residential-based trash, and these are not commercial. But I get if all these RV spots there, it is a problem. But I just think it needs to be more discussion to fine-tune it. Not saying discuss to open the door. If we're going to pull the trigger and stop the RV parks, we should have a lot more discussion and look at the whole picture and not just RVs, basically.
RVs is about 95% of your commercial.
Right.
I mean, every commercial business that I know of has a dumpster.
Yep.
So, I mean, it shouldn't, I mean, like I said, the only one we need to address, and, I mean, we
Well,
kick this thing down the road for a long time.
Well, this is how you got to look at it. Like Mr. Tom mentioned, and a lot of people look at it. They're charging for a service. They're making money. They should be able to afford the trash. If you got a rent house and you're commercial and you're a big thing, and you got 5 or 6 or 7 or 10 or 20 of them, we should treat them the same way, regardless of if they're paying taxes. Because the big, Mr. Ronald's got a business. You pay taxes for trash and that, you know. So, are we just going to point out the RVs, or, you know, because that's the thing.
The only thing that is different there is you're still talking about residential trash.
Yeah.
And what I mean by residential, whether it's commercial, whether they're making money or not, it's a residential generated trash. It's off of a residence. So that's the only, you know.
We're never gonna get it perfect, but I don't have a problem having a meeting. If y'all wanna talk some more, I'm.
Well, the only thing I don't like is all the commotion that's stirred up with all these RV parks, and now we put ourselves in a position to where the public, some of the public that have RV parks are upset, and they're fighting back and causing other issues with other problems. So we basically called a chain reaction where they're questioning us, and I think they have a right, and unfortunately, with what the gentleman drove me around, he took me on a field trip. I can't argue with the gentleman. I mean, if we're gonna do this, there's a lot of other things we need to make sure it gets done to
A
a
lot of those are
T.
not directly related. I mean, in fact, like them people renting out the RVs, that's a whole separate argument.
This
Breaking
is
the law,
all,
breaking the rules.
You wanna push it a month?
Garbage. If you wanna push it a month, I'm fine, but I mean, if y'all wanna have a special meeting.
We need to add it on first.
You gotta
well,
vote to add it on first,
Let-
then you gotta vote.
Yes.
I think, when Giz come, we all said we was gonna discuss it. There was no discussion.
Well, but
You know.
it's hard to discuss, and like we're doing this after the meeting, but it's hard to discuss in an open meeting, so if y'all wanna have a special meeting just for that, I'm all for it. I mean, then we can really, they can come and listen and participate
Yep.
if necessary.
It's up to y'all, however y'all wanna do it, but I think we just
You don't
owe them a
have
little
meeting?
more
I
discussion.
think we need to have a special
Let's
meeting.
have a special meeting, sit down and talk about it.
So, just help your planning, you need to add it onto the agenda, vote to postpone the implementation. And as far as your special meeting, you've got that other contract that done, which one? One of the things you're waiting, the drainage issue for the Grand Lake
We're waiting for
fire.
the change order.
So you may have a special meeting, did you take up both those items?
Knock them both out.
Now, if we have a special meeting, we gotta list exactly what we're gonna be discussing.
Yeah, it's just like a regular meeting, you
If
can
there's
list
anything
multiple.
else, such as the levy issue over here, or anything else that we haven't come to agree, add it on that list, and it'll be just it might just be a bitch session, but it'll be open to the public and open to us to discuss it and talk about it, and get it out of the way.
Yeah, we need to move on some of these things.
Yeah,
We're beating these horses to death and we're not getting anything accomplished.
no.
You know, so yeah, we need to address a few things and get it settled.
Hey, Mark, add on first.
Okay, so, hold on. It's gonna be item
34,
34.
unless you numbered the two motions for executive session.
Well, that's under executive session. Okay, item 34 is gonna be what?
I would like to make a motion to add on to discuss the RV parks in general, along with the trash cans about the pickup.
No,
You needed to,
Postponing
postpone.
No.
Oh.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
To postpone it
implementation,
until discuss, or is that gonna be a total? another vote?
resolution of,
Make two. You better make two, make one to postpone it. and
hold on,
then-
I got the resolution.
Yeah,
Let me-
and then we'll do.
All right, got a motion by Mark to,
Hold on.
The resolution where you define the RV parks excluding them was resolution 1203. So I would say postpone, implementing resolution
Resolution
1203 until after conclusion of a special meeting.
I make a motion to postpone 1203, the implement until after our special meeting that we're gonna schedule.
This
Motion
just
by
to add,
Mr.
this
Moore.
just to add it to your agenda, so
Yes.
vote to add it.
Until after special meeting.
Second.
second by Mr. Sonny. All in favor? Motion carries.
Is there any public comment on the add-on?
Good catch.
Hey,
And for the special meeting, can we make sure the tax assessor's here along with, Ms. Kayla?
I have to schedule.
And, yeah, just to
Now you
make
need
sure
to
they're
vote
present.
to suspend.
yeah, now I need to
Vote on-
actually
vote
vote
on
on the motion to postpone implementing resolution,
That's what we just did.
no, you voted to add it on.
Oh, yeah,
Now we need to vote for it.
Correct.
I'll vote.
I'll make a motion, for the add-on,
Postpone.
to
So you're gonna make a motion to,
postpone the
postpone implementing resolution 1203.
1203.
All right, motion by Mr. Mark. Second by Mr. Sam. All in favor? Motion carries. Motion to
Do
adjourn.
you want to set the meeting date, or do y'all want to get back to us? Y'all know,
To figure out who all can show up and stuff first.
Yeah.
like,
But we
Y'all wanna
gotta
look at
find
your
out.
calendars now, or?
Everybody
Scott,
can see
show
how
up.
it'll be,
Okay.
Just let Katie circulate some dates.
Okay.
Yes,
I don't know if everybody has a
that way
calendar.
we could do,
right
maybe we
now.
could do the other one too in the special meeting with the change order.
Yeah, why don't we hold off till we get that? That way I can have it in hand and say,
Yeah, that's a
okay,
good
I got
idea.
it,
Okay,
what's good.
that's perfect, Mary.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Sam, second by Mr. Martin.
Hmm? That's not a
All
good.
in favor?
Aye.
Oh, well done, gentlemen.